The honourable member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
Today's Auditor General reports reveals the shocking contempt that this Liberal government has for matters of national security. They can't demonstrate that security clearances were held by 50% of the contracts that they awarded to GC Strategies. And in more than 20% of the cases, contractors were working without the required clearances. They didn't check before the work began. They don't know if the work got done. There weren't security clearances for the workers, but they cut the checks anyway. And then this Prime Minister gave the ministers responsible a promotion. So through you, Speaker, will the Prime Minister stand up today and tell us when we get our money back?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I noted in previous answers, in March 2024, PSPC revoked the security clearance of GC Strategies. We've also terminated all contracts because we will always hold bad actors to account. And last week, the Office of Supplier Integrity rendered a decision making GC Strategy ineligible for the next 7 years. This is a process that is independent, that is free of political intervention, to hold bad actors to account, and it is working exactly as it should.
The honourable member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
Well, I'm glad the minister knows that that's working exactly as it should, because they don't know that about any of the work GC Strategies did. $100 million, no deliverables can be proven, no security clearances were had, and the minister's talking about them not doing work in the future. Fine. What we want to know is about the work they didn't do in the past that Canadians paid $100 million for. So, to the minister, through you, Speaker, stand up, tell us what date are Canadians getting their $100 million back, when?
L'honorable ministre de la Transformation du Gouvernement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the Auditor General for her report. As I've mentioned earlier, the Office of Supplier Integrity has rendered a decision last week making GC Strategy ineligible for future contracts by the Government of Canada. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Member for St. Albert, Sturgeon River.
Mr. Speaker, these Liberals handed $20 million taxpayer dollars to GC Strategies for their Arrive scam. This for a company that did no work, whose office was raided by the RCMP and is implicated in fraud. And today we learned from the Auditor General that millions more went to GC Strategies without any proof that work was done. This is absolutely outrageous. When can taxpayers expect a refund?
When?
The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the Auditor General for her report, and we've acted on all recommendations she's made in previous reports as well as internal audits. And as I've noted earlier, the Office of Supplier Integrity last week made a decision to make GC Strategy ineligible for future contracts for a period of 7 years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Good answer.
Member for St. Albert, Sturgeon River.
Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General found no proof of work for a staggering 46% of contracts awarded to GC Strategies.
Wow.
And yet, these Liberals consistently authorized payment. Millions of taxpayer dollars went improperly out the door without any meaningful oversight. So, who over there is going to stand up, take responsibility, and get taxpayers their money back?
Good job.
The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I've noted, we've acted on all recommendations by the Auditor General in previous report. I thank her for her work. We will always hold bad actors to account. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, last week the Office of Supplier Integrity made a decision to make GC Strategy ineligible for future contracts for a period of 7 years. This is a process that's working as it should. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for North Island, Powell River.
$64.5 million. That's how much taxpayer money this Liberal government gifted their friends over at the top Arrive scam contractor. Friends, Mr. Speaker, who are now under RCMP investigation, yet the Trudeau ministers responsible for this scandal, far from being held accountable, have actually been promoted to the Ministers of U.S. Trade, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Minister of Jobs. So my question to the Prime Minister is, when will there be some actual accountability for the millions of dollars in fraud, and when will the hardworking men and women of this country get their money back?
The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Speaker, and let me be very clear. Misconduct of any kind by suppliers is never acceptable, and we will always hold bad actors to account. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, the Office of Supplier Integrity last week made a decision making GC Strategy ineligible for contracts for a period of 7 years. We've also terminated in March 2024 all contracts with GC Strategies, revoked their security clearance. We will always hold bad actors to account. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
The Auditor General tabled a scathing report today on how the Liberals paid GC Strategies, which is now under RCMP investigation, $64 million. In 46% of the contracts reviewed, federal organizations had little to no evidence of receiving deliverables, yet government officials continued to pay. Given the ministers responsible have yet to get the money back from these fraudsters, how did they get promoted into this Prime Minister's cabinet?
Honorable Ministre de la Transformation.
The Honourable Minister for Government Transformation.
I thank the Auditor General for her report, and for previous reports she's made on this matter. We've acted on all of her recommendations to increase accountability, transparency, data collection, and to clarify the rules, the roles, and the responsibilities. And let me be very clear, Mr. Speaker, we will always hold bad actors to account. As a matter of fact, we've revoked the security clearance of GC Strategies. The Office of Supplier Integrity has acted on GC Strategies. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
$64 million in fraudulent spending on GC Strategies and not a cent returned. Today's Auditor General reports have slammed this government. The F-35s are 50% over budget, up from $19 billion to nearly $30 billion, with more increases expected. Millions spent on transforming office space into housing and no homes built. Why, under this Liberal government, are Canadians spending so much and getting so little?
The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Par rapport aux espaces.
Thank you. With regards to the office space, I would like to thank the Auditor General, and we accept all the recommendations that she has submitted to the government. I would like to note that in her report she notes that we are on track to meet our affordable housing goals.
Dundas.
Today's Auditor General report show the true extent of Liberal incompetence and waste. Taxpayers are on the hook for $14 billion in F-35 fighter jet overruns, and the Arrive scam report confirms that a two-person firm received $64 million in contracts for little to no work, and $0 have been returned to the taxpayer. And what does this Prime Minister do? He promotes the very ministers responsible for these scandals into his own cabinet. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, U.S. Trade, and the Minister of Jobs as well. If he's rewarding these failed ministers, how can Canadians expect receiving a penny of the money back?
The Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Speaker, because the member mentioned the Canadian Armed Forces, this government is proud to champion the outstanding work of the women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces. Last month, our forces were deployed on Operation Carib, where they successfully conducted seizures of more than 1,300 kilograms of cocaine in the Caribbean Sea. This month, our forces have been deployed across Canada on Operation Lentus to evacuate Canadians from dangerous wildfires, and that work continues in Sandy Lake today, Mr. Speaker. The contributions of our brave forces at home and around the world are simply and incredibly remarkable, Mr. Speaker.